Good day, good day, good day, everybody. Welcome to another What's Up Wednesday. Another week has flown by. Do you know that tomorrow is September? Summer's over, everybody. This weekend, officially, right? Labor Day? Welcome to another What's Up Wednesday. This is episode 86. 86 continuous weeks of doing this program to help you be a better RVer, traveler in your camper van in particular. And it's just a delight to have you join the program tonight. Many of you, I see some familiar faces. Thank you for joining me for another What's Up Wednesday, a woo, if you will. And if you're new to the program, we would love for you to type in NEW, whether you're new to the live stream tonight or you're watching this for the first time. Type in NEW, we want to give you a shout out. My name is Scott. If we're meeting for the first time, thanks for, again, joining our session tonight and doing Van Life Q&A. I got a hot show for you tonight. I'm really excited for tonight. This came to my mind literally last night, and I'm really excited to share this with you. So we're going to change things up just a little bit. We're doing the Chicago edition because behind me is a parking lot. I'm in a parking lot in downtown Chicago, and that's what makes this the Chicago edition. I'm super excited to share this with you. So here's our agenda for tonight. Let me zoom in for you. We're getting right to our topic, which is a audience friend asked a question about traveling alone. So we're going to get right into that. We're going to delay the hellos to some of the regulars here for just a few minutes into the program. And then I'm going to get right into, after we say hello to you, the van tip. Because I've talked about this before, and people may think I'm crazy. I certainly am. But I want to show you this in real time, because we're doing this in real time tonight. I'm going to give a live demo for that. And we've got our Libation live. We're bringing back the Father of Bourbon, and I got an Elvis song for you. And this is the comment we're going to address here in just a moment. I'll zoom in here for you. Heart is where you roam. Has this, we'll talk about this in a minute, is lonely traveling alone. If you're a solo traveler, I'd love for you to chime in when we get to that topic. Super important. Again, I got a live demo on a van tip. I think you're going to like it. It's kind of cool. Somebody would say it's pretty ambitious. I agree. Libation Live, as I mentioned, this is Elijah Craig again. But it's really all about your questions. Live Q&A. Ask me anything you want. It's third year full-time traveling in my van for me. And many of you are now getting your vans, which is really awesome. And these are some topics if you are unfamiliar with the program. Anything's kind of on the table, fair game. Excuse me, these are all top of mind with me. So that is something you want to take a look at, maybe jot down, and fair game. If you could help us out, though, when you get there, this is the format we like to use, which is 3 asterisks followed by 3 question marks. Helps me find your question and comment, a question in particular, more readily. And if you're feeling generous tonight and you find this useful and valuable, we sure would appreciate a tip in the jar, and that gets a little jingle in the jar by giving a tip via super chat or super stickers. There's a $sign down by the text field where you type in your question, and if you want to make a donation, that would be super helpful. Every dollar counts, even though YouTube keeps 30% of it. They got to keep the servers running, so I get it. But I sure do appreciate that. Let's see what else we got here coming up. Oh yeah, so we kind of mentioned that. Viewer recommendations, we've got some good ones coming in, and I'm applying those into my queue, so stay tuned for that. And we have a form on my website that you can get really wordy, and some of you do. So if you want to be part of that, that's where you go for that. I'm so juiced up for today. It's just so great. So here's where I'm coming at you from. That is literally a picture of my van. Her name is Miss Lily. I'll zoom in here for you. The tall building there in the middle, well, the one that's kind of black rectangular, that's the old IBM building. The one to its left is the really tall one. There's Trump Tower. There's 3 tiers to it. And there's some residential towers around it. But I am literally a good stone's throw from the Chicago River. It's just the most amazing place. I've stayed here before. Chicago, if you don't know, is kind of right here at the bottom of Lake Michigan. And one thing that's cool about Chicago, kind of any of the big cities, LA, New York, Boston, maybe Miami, but Chicago, you talk to people like, I'm from Chicago, you know exactly where it is. When you say I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida, they're like, what? You just have to use the state. I wonder if you have that same experience with that. Let's do the weather. Oh no, let me show you this first. This is really cool. So this is literally where I'm staying right now, and there's a little parking lot that's going to someday be a skyscraper, I'm pretty sure. And look at all the stuff going on around me, boys and girls. I am so juiced. I'm so glad to be here tonight, but I'm excited for the show to end, so I'm going to wander around, I would argue, the best part of the Chicago Loop, which is this area right here. It's so cool. And wait till you see all this tonight. This is so great. Here's the weather tonight. It's going to be 83 degrees today, 63 now. Well, tonight, later, which is nice. It'll cool down. That's really helpful. And it's really great when it does finally cool down at night. It makes the AC work less hard. And we're running on Volta, speaking of air conditioning. So I've been running on Volta now. This is my second day in a row. It's going to be probably 4 more days running on Volta, which is my Pure 3 lithium energy system. And that's how we're going to roll in summer weather. We'll talk about that later. Let's see what else we want to show you. Oh yeah, so gas is pretty expensive here in the downtown area. Let me zoom in here for you. But if you think that's expensive, wait till you try and buy a house. That would be a condo in the sky. You better get your checkbook out, because some of the cheapest ones I found were about 300 grand for a 1-bedroom, and they're in the millions here. This is the Wrigley, or not the Wrigley building, the Tribune building that was converted into condominiums. That project started a few years ago, and for $1,067,000, you can own a 1-bedroom. 1.5 bath. So, or you could buy about 100 Travados, I think, right? Maybe it's a 10. You can buy 10 Travados for $1 million. I think I'll take a fleet of Travados versus 1-bedroom in the sky. What do you think? All right, so let's get into the topic of the night. We're changing things up just a little bit, kind of get to the meat of the matter. If you're joining us for the first time or watching the replay, really do appreciate that. Here's the topic of the night. And this comes from, let me zoom in here for you. This comes from Heart is Where You Roam. And their question is, sorry I missed Wednesday. Can you go over how you deal with being alone on the road? Or is there a video you did already? Yeah, you can link it for me. I already spend most of my days alone, so it won't be new. And I was thinking maybe there are tricks to it I could start now, which might help me out too. And it's a really good question. I've never really done a video specific about it, but I thought I'd put some of this together tonight, and we cut it, repost it as a separate video along with the van tip tonight, because it's kind of a big question, and I've met many of you, and you're solo travelers. So I do have some trips. Well, we have that too. Tips for you tonight, and let me share those with you. The first one is, I think we need to define what lonely is versus alone. So I went to the dictionary, and here's what I found, because there's a big distinction. So lonely, it's an adjective. Sad because one has no friends or company. Without companions would probably be the two most appropriate there. Sad that I don't have friends. I got all of you. I got so many friends I don't know what to do with. It's so amazing because of this whole experience. So that is what lonely is. Now, I'm without a companion because he's running our Airbnb business in Florida. I'm doing an RV business, and we do that by choice. And back in our corporate careers, we'll fly away on Monday, see you on Friday, and then hang out for the weekend and fly away again. So this is not new to Kyle and me. Lonely. Ready for the next one? Sad because no one has friends. I just love that. Alone. Having no one else present. On one's own. And if you think about that from an emotional standpoint, that's a big distinction, ladies and gentlemen. So I kind of choose to be alone because he doesn't like the van, and I'm not sure we get along too well in this small space. But it is a decision that we've made and is working out for us. And let me kind of describe this a little bit for you and give you a couple of tips. I think you're going to like this. Oh, how long we got to go? So I frankly am a workaholic. I probably put in 60, 70 hours a week, maybe more than that. I don't know. I am completely absorbed by my YouTube channel and the brand work I do for Volta and Embassy RV. So I have very little time to be feeling sorry for myself and lonely because I got so much stuff to do. I don't have enough hours in the day. You're like, wah, wah, wah. Everybody else has the same problem. Yeah, I get it. So there's viewer comments. There is, again, working Volta, working with Embassy RV, making videos. I've discovered a whole new video system that I'm starting to apply. More about that later. So basically, I'm pretty busy and I have no time to be lonely. However, this is kind of the tip for you. I like to meet folks too. I like to meet folks after hours. And here are some ways that I meet folks that are kind of obvious, but sometimes not. So when I'm at a campground, whether it's a KOA or a state park or well, we'll talk about that in a second. So campfires, bars and restaurants, events, and activities. Those are the main ways I most often find friends. You know, like airplane friends. You have friends for a couple hours, and then you go and you never see them again. And that's okay. We aren't going to be BFFs every person we meet, right? Just enjoy the moment together, be present. And let me explain this a little bit deeper for you. Maybe we'll get a tip out of this. Join a campfire. So many of you have kind of seen this in action. I typically do not build campfires at campgrounds because they smell bad. They stink up everything in the van, and it takes forever to get the smell out. So what I do, it's kind of reason number one, I'm lazy. Reason number two is I want to join other people's campfire. And what I'm looking for is some folks that look cool. Maybe it's a couple, and they're kind of sitting there alone. They got a good fire going, and I kind of roll up on them. I got a libation in my hand, maybe, and RVers, where are you from? Is always the first question. Nice rig, good icebreaker. Hey, you taking any strays in tonight? And I just chat them up. And if it's a couple that have been sitting there all day and looking at each other for 30 years, they're kind of running out of things to say. They're usually on their phones. So again, I roll in, and if they see me in my van, it's a real icebreaker as well. So I meet friends at campgrounds by inviting myself to their campfire. And let me tell you, it's a beauty. And I put just enough libation in my glass, so I'm good for about 15, 20 minutes. Then my glass is empty, and now I have a decision. Are they cool enough to come back? Or do I move on to the next campfire? Or am I just ready for bed? I've had enough campfire. So try that as one thing. This is kind of an obvious one. However, traveling alone, I do not sit at tables. I sit at the bar. Why? Because that's where all the action is. That's where the bartender is. That's where I get all the local advice. Is it okay to park in the parking lot? Park on the street? What should I do? What shouldn't I do? The bartender's full of advice. And they're going to give me every bit of it because I'm going to pay them a tip. And there's typically people at the bar too. And they're like, where are you from? And if they see my van, it's an instant icebreaker. So I sit at the bar on purpose. I learned this from my mom and dad. And I rarely sit at a table. Rarely. And I get all my stuff and I lay it out. I plug into the thing. And I end up giving a van tour, inevitably, if it's close. And so try that. If you're needing some companionship, try sitting at the bar. It's kind of obvious, I know. How about this one? I got a tip for you on this one. Attend an event. Now, I have not done this in a little while, but when I was roaming around the first year, I kind of was a little lonely, and I was a little trying to find my bearings. So I thought, what if I attend an event? What am I talking about? You ever heard of Eventbrite? Have you ever heard of Meetup? So I've actually done these, and I need to do them again. And the point is, if you get one of these apps, they're kind of the same idea. And you could find a group of people like-minded with a topic you're interested in, a point of interest, and you can go meet up, join their event. It's either free or it's a very small dollar amount. Let me zoom in here so you can see this. And let me tell you about one I did through Meetup. So this is this is Ypsilanti, where I just came from in Michigan. So I kind of scroll through. I'm kind of the arts and culture guy, the history guy, astronomy. So here I typed in kind of old school. Here's first Friday poetry night. Now that actually sounds kind of interesting. If I am in Ypsilanti on Friday, I may well go to this because I'm going to meet some cool people. I'm going to hear some interesting stuff. I'm going to make some, single serving friends and be gone. This one, let me zoom in here for you. Same idea. Here's the categories. I'm not worried about career and business, but certainly not interested in dancing. I fall over. But hobbies and passions, community environments, arts and culture usually gets my attention, And then here there's make a mug. Now, wouldn't that be fun to go make a mug as part of a Saturday afternoon, just something completely random, make a few friends? And I have done this. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember. I just want to do something different. And I used Meetup, and I went to a Seattle Seahawks game at a bar. And they had a Seattle Seahawks, they were all Seattle transplants. It was in California, I think it was. And I showed up, and that's where I learned not to go to sports events because I'm the world's worst sports. I'm a big sports boob. I know nothing about it. Baseball's this thing, right? Yeah. So showing up with a bunch of Seahawks nuts, we didn't really click. So good lesson learned there. But it was a lot of fun. We talked about Seattle, and I felt, at least for a little while, I had a little camaraderie until I kind of got bored with the Seahawk maniacs, and I excused myself. But if looking for things to do on the road, we're surrounded by people. We're surrounded by things. Give that a try. Campgrounds, KOAs in particular, do fun things on the weekends. The KOA I just came from, they had a karaoke night, they had a DJ night, you can go dancing, they have bingo, they got stuff for kids. And if you have not been to a libation heavy bingo game at a campground, you have not lived, ladies and gentlemen. I have had some of the best experiences playing bingo. Even I can keep up with that game. And keeping up with the seniors, man, they got 5 cards wide and they're 2 deep, and I'm like, what? B9? It's so much fun. So that's one way to meet some folks. You can sneak a libation in, or just a soda pop. Not everything needs to have a libation, but it helps. How about this? Live music. I've had so many cool experiences forcing myself to get out of the van and joining a live music event. What you're looking at here, let me zoom in for you. And then we're going to say hi to a bunch of folks. We've got a great group in here tonight. Live music. I love live music. I love seeing artists. I love seeing passion. This was country western in particular. This was in Amarillo. It was a rooftop bar. There was no reservation, just kind of showed up. I said, hey, I'm a solo guy. Put me at a table and put other solo people with me. So I'm instantly trying to create a group around me, right? This cat in the hat there at the table was a huge fan and friend of the guy in the baseball cap. He was the singer, Scotty Walker, I want to say, I can't remember. But they knew each other. He introduced me, got my picture taken with him clearly. And I'm pretty sure that never would have happened if I sat by myself. So put me at a table, join others, can join me, and it's a community event, right? And we can share the experience together. I'll never forget that night. It was one of the coolest things. And how did I find them? This is kind of a tip for you, technology-wise. We've talked about this in the past. And this is an app called Bands in Town. BANDSIN Town. Bands in Town. If you're a music lover, please download this to your device. The iPad app is spectacular. I wish Apple Music would buy this and incorporate it into Apple Music. What it does, it searches your area. You can search by genre. It tells you what's going on tonight. This was, again, I just did this yesterday. Started working on the show. And that's what was going on over the next few days. Every kind of stuff. The Shins, the Pink with a guitar would probably get my interest. And I want to go see that. And they're usually in really small venues. They're kind of famous in local areas. You meet people with a common theme, and it's just great. Let me roll a few more, and then then I'll pause. So, using the same app, Bands in Town, last October, I was in Las Vegas doing some Volta business, and I discovered that, are you ready for this? I couldn't believe it. Adam Lambert was in Las Vegas playing. It was Halloween Eve. And I had a little bit of a posse with me. This is Mike and Janice and Arkansas Tracy. They kind of joined me sort of on purpose by accident. It was really cool. And it turns out Janice is a huge Adam Lambert fan. So I'm like, let's buy tickets. We went to dinner. And I cannot tell you what a great time we had. It was at the Venetian. The last time I saw Adam Lambert, he was with Queen. Pretty big concert. This was really intimate. This is my 3rd time seeing him, and it was just the most amazing thing. And the only reason we showed up and had this experience together is because I used that app. Just be a little curious. There's a gazillion things in Vegas all the time, and can't see them all. But Adam Lambert, I'm going to go back and see him. So the punchline here is I'm alone by choice, but I'm never lonely. Why? Because of all these ways to find things around me, find people, how to engage. You got to be a little bit of an extrovert, and those are some ways to do it, but you're going to have some commonalities with those folks around you. So I hope that helps. And heart is where you roam. Sounds like is this good movie? Oh my god, it doesn't hit the fan. I hope that helps, because I've done all those things, and I need to do more of them. And I'm really excited to getting ahead of this video thing, so I can do more stuff like that. So, whew. Okay, if you got anything out of that, give a thumb up, and I think we will. Yes, thumb up. There we are. So let's say hi to a bunch of folks. We got a bunch of friends in here, and I'm way behind on all that. So let's just take a few minutes. If you came for that thumbnail topic, then you're dismissed. But please stay. We'd love to have you. Wait until you see the Chicago stuff. I'm gonna blow your minds tonight. I'm so excited. Let's see. Here's Dave in Kansas City, 87. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to fall. Jerry Minchie in the house, boys and girls. Famous RV author. He's at 4,000 feet. It's probably cool there, yeah. Banner Elk, North Carolina. Thank you, Jerry, for joining us tonight. Appreciate that. He's a great guy. He's been on the Woo with us before. Here's Free. Good question tonight for tonight's Woo. When I hit the road, I'll be alone. Yeah, try all those out. I'm serious as a heart attack, because it really... Here's something else to think about. And I think Kevin Martin, 30 to Wake Up, when he had his van, talked about this a lot. Unless you have a reason to get out of your van and go explore, it's so easy to stay in your van and hibernate. I'm kind of guilty of that too. But by taking some of those tips, and I'm always searching Wi-Fi, and dive bars usually have pretty good Wi-Fi. I'm always meeting friends, so it's I'm glad you're going to think about that. Hey, Barry's in FLL, 337. Wow, that's a good buy. That's getting real. Louisville Steve, good to see you, sir. Donna's in the house. Appreciate you being here. There's Catmandu, still running. Diesel's super expensive. I was just in Indiana. It was like almost $2 more expensive, $1.50 at least. Crazy. Here's Gilbert in the house. Good to see you, sir. Jacksonville, that's a great town. Denham's in the house. Good to see you. Yeah, the gas is going down. 305. Oh, that's getting close to 2.99. That gets exciting. Sharon, thank you, Ohio Sharon. Here's Mesa Mike. 107. Oh my God. When's it get cool in Phoenix? I might show up in I don't know, January. Let's see. Here's Steve in the house from Ontario, Canada. Thank you for joining us. How do you manage all the purchases from 3 to 4 harvest hosts per stay per week? I probably stay at 1 or 2 a week, and I'm getting better at managing them, because they can run a bar tab for sure. So it's kind of a special treat. What I've been doing lately is Boondockers Welcome, because they're free, and I'm not obligated to do anything, and I don't need most of what they offer, water and electricity. So yeah, I mean, if you got a 50-day a week or $50 a day harvest host habit, that's pretty expensive. You can stay at a campground for that. So it's almost become a little bit of a special treat. Cracker Barrels, I was just in a Cracker Barrel last night. So you got to manage the money, and it got to be someplace I really want to go. If there's going to be dollars involved, I want to support the business for sure. That's kind of the deal. Good question, Steve. Sherry in the house. We're working on your van tour, Sherry. I'm very excited to say that. Love Wisconsin. It's such a good time in Wisconsin. Here's Minnetonka and Steven and Don's in Honolulu. Have we ever had somebody watch it from Honolulu? That might be worthy of a flag next week. Balmy. It's always perfect weather in Honolulu, right? It's such an amazing place. I'm so into Elvis these days. There's lots of stuff with Elvis in Las Vegas. Honolulu too. How many of you remember Hawaii Five-0 with Lord Garrett? What was that guy's name? Oh my God, this is one of my favorite shows. What was his name? The lead detective guy. Somebody help me out. We'll get there. Apollo Beach, Florida. Oh my gosh, you guys getting ready for the SLS launch? Hopefully we can get that thing off the ground this week. That's so great. Here's Jane and Roger. Good to see you. We're working on your video too. I'm very excited about that. Great, just love doing van tours of owners' vans. Yeah, all the kids are going back to school too, which is kind of nice. Here's one thing that's kind of funny, along with summer being over, is Planet Fitness had this thing, free teens, you have to sign up, but no payment, at all the Planet Fitnesses from like the very first week in June to the last till today. And let me tell you, I'm trying to get my workout on, and there's a swarm of teenagers at every station, and I'm glad they're trying to get healthy. Actually, most of them were working out. The problem is there's like 6 of them, so there's like this rotation, so that machine's offline. They were working, but not sitting around doing social messaging. But I am glad the swarm of teens are gone from the gym. It was pretty funny. I don't know. Here's Deborah's in the house. Let's say a few. Oh, Jack's in the house. Good to see you, sir. One of my favorite guys. Love staying in urban overnight parking, exploring the cities. Yeah, you might get a tip out of this, Sherry. Hopefully you will. 100 degrees in Spokane. That's where my family is. Wow, that's pretty hot. So let's see. Gary's in the house. 100 degrees there too. If you saw the weather report, it's pretty hot everywhere. So it just we're gonna miss. Oh no way! Look at this. You stayed the night on the street in Chicago in June? Oh, I'm proud of you, sir. That is... So you have to share with us... oh, Pam, his wife. You'll have to share how that went for you. I'm really excited to... the Russo's in the house. I can't believe it. The Russo's my hero. I think it's at a van camp at their place. I just couldn't get down there because I'm up here. Thank you, Joe and Kate. If you're not subscribed to their channel, they got a van now. They got a storyteller on transit with Volta, and they are on the road. And apparently we'll be seeing them at the Hershey show next month. We got to hang out with them at the beginning of this month. I can't believe that is a month gone already. Thanks for being here, Joe and Kate. You guys are awesome. They're truly my heroes. I would not be doing this if it wasn't for Joe and Kate. And they tire me hearing me say that, but it's true. Okay, Nancy in the house, a few more, and Michael's got a good question here. And I've been thinking about this. I kind of shared this with Roger and Jane. Hey Scott, you had mentioned you were going to change the name of your van at one time. Are you still thinking about doing that? I thought about changing the van name at 100,000 miles because it really doesn't look like a Lily anymore. And so I was thinking, maybe toughen up the name a little bit. And Jane gave me some good suggestions. Calamity Jane being one of them, and Miss Kitty being another one from Gunsmoke. And I'm like, Miss Kitty was kind of a tough old broad, right? She ran the show a lot of ways. Why don't we just call it Miss Lily? So we're probably gonna just kind of put the pronoun in front, Miss Lily, and that toughens her up a little bit, and just roll with that because she's my Lily. So, but Miss Lily going forward. Good question. All right, so let's shift gears. Where am I at here? We're at the bottom of the hour already. I can't believe this. I want to get to this van tip for you guys. Okay, let me roll through just a couple more things. This is important for channel growth, and we really lit the fire on is YouTube van life over, and people come out of the woodworks kind of supporting the cause, which is really, really nice. And what I want to share with you is this right here. So I've been putting a ton of time, money, and effort into this. Where am I? Right here. So what you're going to see for the first time ever on this channel, I hope we get it done. I think it's going to be done. This is the thumbnail. Some of my favorite subjects: trains, planes, and whiskey. We're going to be putting out camper van travel guides, CVTG, camper van travel guides. What I don't want to do is put out content to have you watch me eat. I am not that interesting. But what I do want to put out is content to help you plan a trip, whether it's for an overnight or a couple of days. In this case, it's going to be Rochelle, Rochelle, Illinois, this charming town. We're going to show you places to go, eat, drink, get Wi-Fi, stay the night. Here's the format we're using. And these are the videos where you're going to see this one on Sunday. I think that's what we're going to do. So we're going to launch that, and then it's a camper van travel guide. If you look at let me zoom in here for you. I'm so excited about this. I think I finally got this nailed. The right image is the components of a camper van travel guide. there's the hook. Why do you want to watch? There's the map, a little bit of history, a big do attraction. In this case, go to the railroad park and see the trains at this intersection. It was so cool. And then there's other attractions like the whiskey, a couple places to eat, a couple places to have coffee or libation. Some locals recommend day stay, because travelers can't just stay in one place. A lot of times they need to go someplace during the day, then someplace during the night. So I'm going to show you where to go for a day stay that I found to be worthy, and then a night stay, an overnight stay. And in Rochelle, it was the Harvest Hose site, and that's where the planes come in because it was an active municipal airport. And by the way, parachuters would go way up and then jump out of a plane, and they landed at the airstrip. It was the coolest experience. Wait till you see this. It's amazing. And then we're going to do Wi-Fi. Where can you find Wi-Fi? And then I'm going to have a Scott spot, my place that I really enjoyed the best, and then we end the video. So that's what we're going to start doing on these travel guides. We've got Rochelle coming this Sunday. Racina's in the works right now. I'm recording Ypsilanti, Michigan, super charming town. And that's in addition to all the other stuff we got going. And I'm telling you, I am working my rear end off. And I am so excited about this stuff. So hopefully that'll be out this weekend. It's the first one. It's a little rough, but you'll have to give me your feedback. Now, if there's other things that I should add or omit, I'm trying to keep it really simple so I can record it in like 2 days. It's not like visit Chicago and spend a week. This is 48 hours. So we're going to see how that goes. So I'm really, really excited. A few more things for you to consume. Van events, of course. We've got the roundup coming. The Hershey RV show just in a couple weeks. I can't believe it's here already. We're going to be in the General RV Travado booth. So come see us there on the 17th at 11 a.m. And the Adventure Van Expo. A number of you are coming to this, and I'm so excited. We're going to have the great as time. Kate and Joe, are you going to this? I can't remember. It's all adventure vans. Miss Lily is a lookalike, but Sunday the 3rd of October at 11 a.m. we're going to be doing that in Chattanooga, one of my favorite towns. We're going to do a camper van guide in Chattanooga. And what else do I have for you? Oh, guess. Oh my God, next week we got the CEO of Harvest Hose coming on, Joel. I'm so excited for that. I can't tell you what a pleasure that is. I think Jack Johnson, what a pleasure it is to have him coming on. We're going to do some talking about lithium. I really appreciate my lithium system way more than ever this summer. I'm going to talk about that here in just a moment. All right, so let's look for some questions. And man, I am a motor mouth today. I am fired up. Okay, so let's look for some questions. Whoops. Okay, so we got name change. Thank you, Michael. Miss Lily. You can address her as Miss Lily from now on. Jack's got a question. Have you ever done the architectural boat tour in Chicago? Yes, I have, sir. And it is awesome. Chicago got some big warts, but it is an amazing city. Every time I come here, I'm so glad this was the place that Apple moved us to, and it's grown so much. The skyline is it's I think one of the most impressive, if not the most, in the United States. New York is so big you can't even see the skyline really. But yeah, and from the water, the architectural tour is just over the top. So thank you. For answer. Greg's in the house tonight too. This is great. Let's see. Michael Clark. I love traveling alone. I am what you call a social introvert. I love my time alone, but I am socially engaging when I want to be, especially around my band brothers and sisters. Yeah, and that's kind of the point, right? There was a viewer, Dan, in his new Solus. He probably thought I was being a little not friendly. He was a busybody going back and forth all over the seeing friends and what have you. We just had a number of chats, but I was just so focused on getting the content done. That's why I was staying so long at that KOA. But when you roll in with your van brothers and sisters, you have something to talk about, and it's just the greatest thing. Yeah, that's a good point, Alex. So this is something I'm getting better at. Jane and Roger know this, is for me to just have more fun. And I think with this breakthrough on the editing team and this new format to record and have them edit travel videos, which I've never done, rarely have done because they perform so badly, I'm just going to bite the bullet. We're going to do them anyway. One of the responses back from is van life over on YouTube is, I'm kind of tired of seeing vans. There's not a lot of change there. So maybe I'm hit this at the right time. I'm so committed to doing this. Here's Sherry. The way you meet people on the road are the same things I have used living in a house by myself. I love volunteering and love having conversations wherever I go. Yeah, you got to just put a little faith out there, and magic happens. And yesterday I toured Gary, Indiana. You're gonna see this video coming up. It's a place video. There's not much to do and see in Gary, Indiana, except Michael Jackson's house, and I found this amazing church. And the point being is, you just got to put a little effort in, and you can't steer a parked car. Only when you put that thing in drive, just let your foot off the brake and just let things take its course, do you get there. So thank you, Sherry, for sharing that. Gilbert, a gentle shake, a gentle jingle in the jar. Thank you, sir. Name a city you haven't been to, but you've always wanted to visit. In the van or in general? I'm just so into small towns these days, and I won't even know them until I get there. Ypsilanti would be a great example of that. I'm excited to go spend. I'm not going to get there this go around in my van. I'm not going to be able to go all the way to Philadelphia. I think there's this, or even New York City. There'd be something for me super surreal about driving around downtown Manhattan, New York City, and finding a parking spot for even a few hours overnight would be so surreal in the van. I've been to New York many times, and Boston's a great town. So I really want to get to the Northeast, Maine, Vermont. I haven't been to any of those places. So good question. But I just love discovering small towns, and I got some really cool ones coming up between here and Hershey to record camper van travel guides. So thank you, Gilbert. Appreciate that. The jingle in the jar, sir. You're amazing. And it's easy to be a very solitary person, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what I've found is it's so easy just to stay in your van and hang out in your van and not even brush your teeth for a day in your van. It's so I would caution you that I think the beauty of the van is it takes you places, and then you live out of the van. You go discover out of the van. How are we doing here? We are way behind. Let's see. Looking for questions. Travels with Charlie. That does sound familiar. Judy is right. Chicago has very good museums to see, and the food in Chicago is the best. Food, it's pretty hard to beat. Wait till I gotta get. We might go a little late tonight. Who knows the cheeseburger where that came from? Billy Goat? I wouldn't say it's the best hamburger ever, but it's the best storied hamburger. I had one tonight. I always do that when I get downtown. Billy Goat Tavern since 1934. Look at this, Denim Rue. Thank you for your super sticker. I appreciate the support. You all are awesome. Okay, let's see. I'm looking for questions. I just don't want to miss anything. Clark says, Scott, you have to switch to Anytime Fitness, open 24/7, and separate shower rooms. Yeah, Chad and Paul use those guys. I've just been comfortably numb with Planet Fitness. They have a few machines I wish they had. I'm glad the teen thing is over. I just wish their cleanliness was better. Maybe I need to look into it. Planet Fitness is just about everywhere I go, even in pretty small towns. So it's an idea I need to explore. Do they have tanning? I like the tanning, the bronze glow. I hate sitting in the sun. Gee, Miss Lily. Yeah, I love Miss Kitty, but then I gotta explain the whole story to everybody. I think it was up it a little bit. Miss Lily. Gotta call her Miss Lily. And my old boss's daughter, who that is, where that came from, would be very pleased. Yes, Miss Mike, I know it's not like a broken record, but do not forget to finish Route 66 journey from last year. And I think with this new format, Campervan Travel Guides, that gives me the context to put it in and relieves the pressure of me, Mike, from doing this travel log. And that's how I recorded it, and it was the worst thing to do. I was impressed the way Mark and Trish, Keep Your Daydream, did theirs. They had a lot of fun. They got a lot of help. They got the bobblehead and the whole 9 yards. They really thought it out well. I didn't. I just got in and recorded hundreds of hours probably, and I'm like buried under it. So I think by going back and doing it in a camper van travel guide style. You're going to see the essence of it, and more importantly, where to stay, where to get Wi-Fi, place, things to do, like do the drive-in movie in Las Vegas, New Mexico. You got to do that, right? So it's a great plan. Allied Forces wants to know, Scott, is there any way to upgrade the tanks on the Travado? Not that I'm aware of. I'm assuming you're talking waste and water and gas. I'm not aware of any way to do that. Now you can put some portable water inside. That's what I do. Oh no way! This is so great. They'll be at the Chattanooga Adventure Event Expo. Get your tickets, boys and girls. This is gonna be fun. You can stay overnight. It's 2 days. It's really easy. No, we might be bringing the pizza oven. No way! I can't wait to see that. That is so great. All right, let me shift gears, and I'm going to get into this next topic really fast. Whew. I'm trying to cram too much in today, so thanks for buckling your seatbelt. Okay, now this is what makes this a Chicago edition. We got 100 people here, man. This is so great. Okay, let me roll this forward. Okay, van tip. So we've not done a van tip in a while, and van tips can come from you. I've gotten some really great ones from y'all, and I kind of package that. And my tips too, I package that, we put them in this format, and I cut it out of this live stream, and then we repost them so everybody can get that 10-minute snippet. That's what this is about. So the van tip tonight is about urban overnight camping for cheap and with great access to everything around you. So as I alluded to in the opening comments, this is literally where my van is. I'm in a parking lot, surface parking lot, downtown Chicago, 1/2 block from the Chicago River, across the street from, and up the stairs, from the Apple Store, Michigan. This is, if you're looking at it from the air, about where I would be, the base of the Wrigley building. And if you want to come to Chicago and stay the night in a hotel, I looked up on Expedia today, and these are kind of the, the lower scale brands, I would call them. If you've been to any of these in Chicago, you know Hotel St. Clair and the Whitehall Hotel. Those are not first class places necessarily, but they're inexpensive and doable, so it's $100 a night. I rolled forward to a little bit bigger brands here, so here's a little more upscale, Hyatt Regency. I actually kind of found it to be fairly reasonable. I was kind of surprised. $250 a night, the Hyatt Regency, that's not too bad. I'm sure it's kind of overlooking the dumpster, but nonetheless, in the alley. And here's where some of these hotels get you. So the first arrow there is the per night price. The parking, if you're getting a rental car, the parking is $56 per night. So it's really $300 per night to stay in your hotel, which is, it is what it is. However, what I'm suggesting in your camper van is stay on, not the street, but a parking lot. And that's what I want to share with you here. We've talked about these before, and I want to show you this live tonight. So this is the parking rate. Whoa, the parking rate normally is, which still is not super offensive. If you're staying for 24 hours, $55. And it's about the same cost as a KOA with no hookups and no campfires. I'm getting mine for, I think it was $24. I want to show you that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change gears here. I'm going to show you on my iPad. And we're going to do the Park Wiz app. It's a funny name. Window, Park Wiz. Here we go. Share. Okay, so I'm going to keep this on screen. So unfortunately, it's only portrait, not landscape, which irritates me. So maybe I'll zoom in so I don't have the distraction of me in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in what I did yesterday to find this location. I'm typing in Apple Store, Michigan Avenue, Chicago. Get that right? Michigan Avenue. So there it comes up right here. So it says, when are you arriving? Let's make this tomorrow, because it may stay a second night actually. I'm going to arrive after 2 p.m. So I'm arriving tomorrow, 2 p.m. And then I'm going to exit on Friday at, pick noon. I'm going to It says updating times. You can see that. Now it says find parking. So you see the one there for $27, kind of where that's the entrance gate to where I am. I'm going to tap that. It's nice enough to kind of give me incorrect directions to the Apple Store. You do go across Michigan Avenue, but you don't circle back to Trump's Tower. So what's interesting here, this is $27. We're saving $26. Remember the overnight parking was $55? And look at the other prices around. Now, the big thing here, ladies and gentlemen, is we have vans. So I've been to this lot before, so I was familiar with it. But you can see pictures before you. I'll show you that in a second. You cannot go into a garage with a van. You're like, duh. But what you don't want to do is buy a spot in a garage, and you get there, you're like, oh my God, it's a garage, not a surface lot, without impediments. So what I do is I kind of scope this out, and then I go find the spot, and I will drive around it, make sure I can get in, and I'm comfortable with the area, and then I book, like this. So here's the pictures. So that's the entry. Entry and exit. You scan with a little barcode thing. So again, at a visual glance, you can see there's no obstructions. It's fenced but not gated. That's kind of okay. And so for tomorrow, 2 p.m. to Friday at 2 p.m. is $27. I'm going to book that. I'm going to tell you why in a second. So I'm going to book this. I'm going to use Apple Pay and use my Costco basic card, of course. Face ID not recognized. Let's try it again. My magic code to my life. And now, what it's going to do is give me a QR code right there. My space is booked. Now, what's cool is I'm not limited to any particular parking spot. There's just a spot available, so they don't oversell it by either people coming in willy-nilly or through the app. The system is monitoring this. So I always take a picture like that, so it goes into my photos, but this is also in the app. So I actually have now 2 nights, tonight and tomorrow night, in the same lot, and I am really juiced. Let me tell you why. Well, in a second. So anyway, that's ParkWiz. There is another app called Spot Hero that's very similar. I'm curious if you have used that. And Sherry, you had mentioned you've done some of that. I've used this in many places, and when my van goes to, or when I fly to Rome here next month in October, I'm going to use this to find parking and park my van in a lot that's secure using that same app. So let me share what's next here. Yeah, maybe the demo. Maybe that. So let me share a screen. How are we doing? You guys hanging in there with me? Let's see. So this was a van life miracle that occurred tonight. So this is where I initially started at 4 o'clock this afternoon. The van was in the middle of the lot because, I'll zoom in here for you, because the places I wanted to be were not available. Drink water. Ooh, we gotta hurry. The Libation Live is next. And here's I climbed up on the, came up the stairs to the street level, looking down. So that's where I was. And I want to call your attention to, I think, this corner of the lot. There's 2 places I wanted to be. This is the second best, and I'll be blessed by the universe. And I said I want that spot or I want the other spot before the show. And I'm telling you, faith works in mysterious ways. Van life miracle. Are you ready for this? Guess where I'm parked right now. I parked right there where that white car was. I was so excited. I'm like, that's amazing. You know, when I put it out there, it 80% of the time provides, you know. And it looks like I'm sticking out a lot. I'm not. I'm right up against the fence, so my bike is very safe. This is an amazing spot, and I couldn't be more thrilled. What I'm going to do is hopefully I can just wave my code out tomorrow, wave my code back in. The thing goes in, and I don't have to leave this spot. Otherwise, I have to do a quick spin around the lot to get this spot back. Now, the other spot's exact opposite of me, which is better because this is where they're going to come around, and the headlights coming around as they exit are going to flash inside my windshield, and I don't put up my covers. Now, many of you that are watching this live are like, that's kind of cool, or watching the repos, you're like, oh my God, you're living in your van. You're sleeping in your van. I know. This is not camping. This is parking very discreetly. I don't come in here and make a bunch of lights on and all that kind of stuff after it goes dark. This is discreet parking. Downtown Chicago, a block from the Apple Store on the river for $28. I mean, really, right? So it's not camping. So I just want to call your attention to that. So after I parked and I had a little bit more work to do, I ran over to the Billy Goat Tavern. How many people of you have had a Billy Goat burger or a beer in the Billy Goat? This is the original one. It's under the street. It's really grimy. It's been there since the 30s. And here's what it looks like. Fortunately, I hit there before all the office workers got out. It's such a storied bar in Chicago. There's my burger and a beer. The beer was $4. The burger was $6. So for $10, I'm into a cheap weekend in Chicago. It's so amazing. But there's more, and that's why I just bought the second night in the same parking lot, because I have a new app that I discovered by complete accident called Fever. This is the website. They don't have an iPad app. They do have a phone app. It's called Fever, and what I was looking for is what's going on in Chicago that's different. And guess what I found? Let me see if I got this right. I just went to the. How many of you have been to the Van Gogh immersive experience? On Thursday tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock, I'm going to go see Prince, the immersive experience. I'm staying downtown Chicago for $50. I'm going to hang out in Chicago because I have a camper van that's fully equipped to allow me to do that. Let me talk about air conditioning quick, then we're going to talk Libation Live, answer more questions. How do I accomplish this? I'm running the AC right now, and what I do is I'm running off the Volta system, which is a massive lithium energy system. I'll zoom in here for you. So that was when I put this together early this afternoon. I can't remember what time that was. I was getting down to about 50%, 60%. So what I thought I would do is run a charge session. That's what the, I'm sorry, not a charge session. That's what the consumption of electricity looks like when the AC is off. It's above the yellow line, and when the compressor's on, it's below. When the compressor's off, it pulls about 400 watts, and that's how I'm able to manage the length of the battery by keeping the compressor off less often. Next image. And this is what it looks like from today. So I was in I was in a Cracker Barrel last night, ran the AC all night. I drove to Chicago about an hour and a half, something like that. Charged the battery, AC running while I was doing all my medical business. You can see it charging while I was driving, 4,000 watts going in there. And then it starts discharging as I pull into the parking lot. And that's what I do is, I will run a charge session tonight before I go to bed, probably. We're at 70% say charge right now. And by doing 2 charge sessions and or driving a little bit, I'm good for a 24-hour period with the two or three 1-hour sessions to keep the AC running in here. It's just the most magic thing on earth. So that's my tip for you tonight. Is if you have a lithium system, this is great. If you have a generator, it's not quite as cool, but you can still accomplish it. So if you're experimental, and that's what van folks are, you got to discover this stuff. Give it a try in an urban environment, and this app is everywhere. Go overnight camp, which is really discreet parking for cheap, and go discover, and then come back, go to bed early, get up, and off you go, and you'll just be like, this is so cool. It's so cool. So that was my van tip for you tonight. If you enjoyed that, give a thumb up. Sure appreciate that. I am so excited because I got all this. My next stop is the Apple Store, so I'll go get some stuff uploaded. All right, so let's do a few more questions, and we'll do Libation Live, and I'll get this off screen. I'm talking fast today. I appreciate you hanging in there with me. Let's see, this thing skipped, so bear with me. Let's see, we got Gilbert's 30 and Denham Road. Wow, this thing really jumped. June, we got June's in there. Broken Record Mike, Route 66. So here's Jack. Gilbert's like, don't tease with the pizza oven and then not bring it. Yeah, I agree. Please bring it. So Jack's like, love the idea of camper van travel guides. Will they be achieved somewhere? Great service to all of us who don't get around like you do. Will they be achieved somewhere? I'm not sure what you mean. So there'll be videos. I think my idea is to create a kind of a PDF. The Wendlands have kind of done this, but mine are going to be very specific, very short, very instructional, because you don't want to see me eat all the time, but very specific. So I'm excited. I'm glad you like that idea, Jack. I'm really excited about traveling and recording that for the first time in a long time. It depends on how much room we have in the van once it's all packed up, says the Russos. This is so great. So what we'll do, Jack, to answer your question a little more deeply, so archive, so I'll do is create a playlist on the YouTube channel called Campervan Travel Guides. I've actually bought the URL, CVTG and campervantravelguide.com, and we may actually set up a separate website to make this more easy. The Russos, if you have not been to their website, they've done a superb job on organizing places to go in the RV, and yeah, we're kind of again following their lead on some of this thinking. So yeah, we're the Russos. Bravo, misadventure. Okay, we're gonna go a few extra minutes tonight because I'm behind on some of this. We haven't even had libation yet, and clearly I'm needing one. Let's see. So this is kind of a good one. So Mighty Storm, spouse leaning towards a B+ for the additional room. I'm concerned with parking being limited to additional size. Your thoughts would be greatly appreciated. I don't think it'd get a B+ in here. The spots are really tight. It truly was a van miracle to be in the spot here or maybe over there. This one is slightly less desirable because of the headlights coming around as they exit. I can deal with that, but I don't think you can get a B+ in here. You really sacrifice, and correct me if I'm wrong, folks in the group tonight, you really sacrifice being nimble, agile, park anywhere, by having a few more feet of space and probably to bring more stuff. I am super biased on not having a bunch of stuff. Now if you physically need the space because you're on the larger size, that's something to consider, but the Travado K floor plan's pretty open, so 2 people can move about that pretty easily. You have to be on the smaller size, I think, to operate 2 people in a floor plan like this, but there's a lot of floor plans out there. So I would really coach you on thinking it through. What are your priorities? Which kind of is, why do you want to RV? If it's to bring a bunch of stuff and you want to go to campgrounds, you don't want to go, you want to go hang out in downtown Chicago for 2 nights. Those are all things to really consider. Great points. Hey Jay Mags, good to have you here. Welcome to, excited to be here and part of this community. We got a Travado too, or at least a ProMaster base. Man, congrats, that's awesome. Yes, Jack, don't forget the Musical Highway Route 66 travel guide. I did that, and it takes some going a couple times to get it just right, but I did, and I think I even got it captured on the sound. So we'll try that. But yeah, I'm really excited to revisit Route 66. That was a huge aspiration, a huge personal bucket list, but a huge fail for the channel. So I owe it to y'all, because I made a big deal about it, and it was pretty much a life-changing event for me. Marydale's got 20,000 miles on it now. I'm at 98 almost. I need an oil change really bad. Okay, look for some questions and let's shift gears. Billy Goat, no way, you've been there. There's a couple of them, right? This is the original. I'm not sure if it started there in 1934, but this one's been there for at least since the 50s, even the 40s maybe. And they got these pictures on the walls that are like anybody came through Chicago, went to Billy Goat, got the picture taken with the original owner. Congrats on your van. Forever Green Adventures. Love the Billy Goat. Yeah, it's just it's so great. What? Prince Murphy experience? That's amazing. I saw Van Gogh, but Prince, yeah, I'm super excited. And if you're, music for me has been a huge thing about the van experience. I've seen so many live concerts. I've been to places like Prince's Paisley Park. For me, it just brings a better understanding of the artist, the human, and I'm really excited to see Prince. I really loved his old stuff in particular. So I'm super juiced tomorrow. Van Gogh is super cool. If Van Gogh's in your area, go see it. It will melt your mind. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Thumbs up for Scott today. Okay, we're doing Libation Live. Woo! Mason Mike, thank you. Get a jingle in the jar. Always ask me, keep me honest. How's your workout program, nutrition going? Shoulder better. Keep pumping the iron, Van Bro. Good news on my back is better. I've had no pain now for 2 days, so my shoulder is still. I can work around it. I can do legs probably. So probably not tomorrow, but when I leave downtown Chicago, I'll be working on the gym. I am happy to say I hit 161 pounds this morning. So that's a pretty big deal. Now I had a double cheeseburger at Billy Goat, so it's not helping things, but I think I got the weight on the right place. So I'm really excited to get back to the gym. It's really driving me crazy that I can't because of my stupid shoulder, which I was probably trying to be a hero, right? That's usually what happens. All right, let's do Libation Live. And if you're new to the program, where this comes from, even though I do like the libations, is there's a lot of tastes on the road. Food, to sit here and eat in front of you is not super cool, but a lot of the harvest hosts have wineries, breweries, distilleries, and those sometimes you can actually find in your local area. So what we like to do is talk about those tastes I discover on the road, and maybe you can find them in your local stores. The other thing is, Traveling Robert always does his Friday Live with an IPA. I'm like, well, he's a pretty cool cat, so why not we do the same thing? So last week we did the Libation Live. This is the Elijah Craig. This is the rye. It was so delish, and one of you surmised that bottle would not last the rest of the week, and it didn't. So what I've done is I was at the Binny's, which is a big beer and wine retailer here in Chicagoland. So what about this is the small batch, just regular, and there's a picture on top of Miss Lily with the background, and this is what it is. So it's what made this kind of special to me is Elijah Craig, that's why it's named that, is he was the first one to char the inside of an oak barrel, and that's kind of where the whiskey color and flavor comes from, right? So let's try this. This is the standard, not the rye. Do you have this in your collection, Jack and Joe? Man. Man. Cheers, everybody. I'll have a sip of whiskey in front of you, but I won't eat a hamburger in front of you. That is really delicious. This is one of my up-and-coming brands. I think it was on sale at Binny's for $29. It's got a little bite to it. It's 94 proof, but boy, it is tasty. I'd say I like the rye better. It's just a little more spicy but smooth, if that makes any sense. Maybe I'll fill my flask with Elijah Craig and take my bike and ride through the Chicago Loop this evening. Wouldn't that be fun? What else we got? That's kind of all I got for you on the, let's see, we're doing abbreviated versions. We do have stickers. So if you're, again, new to the program, we have stickers. And that's all I got at this point. I'm experimenting with t-shirts. I might have a breakthrough there too. But if you want a sticker, and we're doing the old school way, you send in cash and with a self-addressed stamped envelope. And my mother-in-law, she processes the order. She keeps $2 and $1 goes to the artist Mike, who you saw at the Adam Lambert concert. So we give a big shout out to Mike for helping us with that. Do the Instagram thing. We do some fun things on Instagram. Having a good day. Let's see what else we got. I think that's pretty much it for you. Woo, man. Hang tight. Oh, we got one more thing. Let's look for a few more questions here. Archived. Yeah, so Jack, we'll make a playlist specific to the camper van travel guides, and I'll have a webpage specific to my on my website listed by state, and then they would click off to YouTube. So that's yeah, Larry. It's just you know, because there's no campgrounds in Chicago. The furthest one is, we got two. One is an hour south in Kankakee. Nice little campground. It's not super expensive, $50 a night. The other one is way out, about an hour, almost an hour and a half outside the city. It's super expensive, and one of my least favorite KOAs. And there's not a lot of campground options. Not even really many Cracker Barrels. So, you know, experimentation with stuff like this, I think, is kind of what it's all about, and I'm happy to be the trailblazer. Now, not a lot of you will agree with me staying downtown Chicago at any night of the week. I wouldn't want to be down here on this Labor Day, Saturday, Sunday night. No. Weeknights, much more my speed. So, okay. Larry, so do you have a checklist before leaving the spot? I do. I have a mental and audible and tactile checklist, and I check every button in the cabinets, the fridge locks, the freezer locks, the fans, lights. If I've disconnected or I've been connected to something, even if I'm not, I go walk around the van before I get in and drive away. It even happens to me, all of a sudden I'll turn a corner and I forgot to push the button to lock the silverware drawer. Out it springs, and never had a mess, but it's very disconcerting. So just like an airline pilot, they go through their checklist, and I do the same thing. I physically touch each one and say locked, and I'd say about 3 out of 10 times I've missed something. So it's just a good thing there. So guys, Russo's cheers, toasting with the homemade meat. Oh wow, didn't make it meat. Don't have any Elijah Craig on the shelf. I still have a little bit of the Four Roses you gave us. One of my favorites still, Four Roses. We had so much fun doing bourbon tasting with y'all at the Volta camp out. And in fact, my camp neighbor, really cool family. Turns out they liked whiskey. They did something for me. Oh, they fed me with this really amazing feast. And I'm like, you guys like whiskey? And speaking of making friends, right? And they were there for a few nights. And so last night I said, you guys like whiskey? So I brought 4 bottles out, the first, and I brought 2 more out. And they were blown away at this discovery of new whiskey. And to me, that's what it's really about, is just discovering and sharing. So that's why we do this. Okay, one last thing. Dave says, do I have a good t-shirt connection if you want to? Oh, he has a good... yeah, if you could hit me up with a email, Dave, so gosmalllivelarge@gmail.com. What I'm looking for is for kind of a print on demand, that I set up a web page and the customer can order, and I don't touch anything. I'm just putting up the design that then gets printed. Customer chooses everything. So if that's kind of what you're talking about, I have 0 place in my van to store t-shirts and be a shipping department. So but I'm all for talking. Okay, one last point here, because I've just been infatuated with this Elvis movie. I had to share this. So music, get your music, favorite music source. This is from the soundtrack, and I downloaded the soundtrack. It's an amazing soundtrack. This is Tupelo Shuffle. Tupelo is where Elvis grew up. I was not familiar with these artists, and they kind of sound like Elvis. So Sway Lee is the cat with the glasses, and Diplo is the dude with the black t-shirt. And if you're into that Elvis movie or Elvis music, I would really encourage you to check out this soundtrack. It's from the movie. Austin Butler sang several songs in the movie. What a stud. And then Elvis, of course, was in there, and they actually did some mixing, is that the right word? Where a modern artist backdrops, is that the right word? For Elvis. It's really, there's only 2 songs I really didn't like that were pretty heavy rappy type hip-hop songs, but everything else has just been spectacular. So if you're looking for a music selection, that's where we go tonight, to the Elvis movie. I think we're done. Thumb up, everybody, and I'm going to go waltz around the Chicago Loop. I'm going to the Apple Store to get one thing uploaded to the editing team. But thanks for joining me tonight. Really appreciate it. Hope you found this useful. We talked about being lonely, some ways to not be lonely, be around people, and ways to street camp in an urban environment for cheap. Show me a nice hotel like this in downtown Chicago for $28 tonight. I know, right? All right. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for being there. Really do appreciate it. Peace be with you. See you next Wednesday. See you Sunday for the premiere of our first camper band travel guide.